Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to be discussing the full future of the Classic project, where I think we're headed, and this is mainly going to be covering MOP and TBC, and just sort of the overall future that we are going to see here in Classic World of Warcraft. Now, we have quite a few sort of options, dates, things to really look at. But for the most part, we know we're getting Mists of Pandaria, and we know we are getting TBC, and those are the only two things that are actually guaranteed. But once we get to BlizzCon, we'll have the split off of the two roads that the Classic project can go down. But I've been feeling a little, uneasy about the future, and I feel like many Classic players have been wondering that same question. So I'm going to do my best to give you the timeline dates and what I think, because Blizzard has been quite consistent with their 8 to 12 week release cadence. And obviously, the further we go out, the more variance there will be. But for the immediate future, we have pretty good guesses on what we could see. So without further ado, let's dive right into this and show you guys all the fun dates. So the first date, and probably the most recent one, obviously Nax just came out for Anniversary, and that leaves the next thing going to be Throne of Thunder. Now, November 18th is my 30th birthday, so I'm going to go with that. That is at the 8-week mark of Landfall, which isn't really a major patch, so I really hope we get it here. I think we'll get Isle of Thunder on the 18th, and then we will get the raid on the 20th. Would be really, really cool, but you never know. But I'm just going to go with that date because obviously no bias at all. Then the next most immediate thing would be TBC launch and pre-patch. So for those of you that don't know, TBC pre-patch is probably one of the biggest sort of changes to the game that we really have ever seen. Like, they do massive overhaul of the world, they do massive overhaul of talents, they do massive overhaul of leveling, and it is just a massive undertaking. And with that patch, you get Alliance Shaman with the Draenei, and you get Blood Elves with the Horde for Paladins. So really, really cool stuff with that. I think they could do it early December. The problem with December is the last 2 weeks, you have Christmas into New Year's, and everybody's out, no one's playing it, so they usually try to avoid that. And then any earlier than that makes it a bit weird. So I'm going to go with, we'll probably see pre-patch on January 6th, and I think this is earlier than what most people are saying, but I think we will get it around this week, and then they will give us a full month before they give us a TBC launch in early February. And during this, obviously, the longer the time allows a lot of people who maybe aren't playing Anniversary, like myself, to go over there, start prepping their characters, go there. There are a lot of things that could launch. A few questions are, will we see a TBC Fresh server, as well as will we see the Dark Portal boost? Definitely the Dark Portal boost is an absolute yes, and we will be getting that. The Fresh server, I don't know. I personally hope we get it, but that is a video debate that I have had many times, and I seem to be in the minority of that with you guys. But anyway, the next thing is going to be TBC officially launching probably Tuesday, February 2nd, or around here. Could be the 10th. These are two really good dates, not much going on. Valentine's Day is in February, but that's about it. And, WoW players are married to Azeroth anyway, so we don't celebrate that too often. Obviously a joke. But I do think that we would then see MOP Phase 4 either sometime late February, early March. Once again, Phase 4 is very similar to Phase 2 of MOP. Not really much content that you're going to get. It just sort of enhances the legendary quest line and has you go explore a few things. But other than that, not too much. And you do get your 600 eye level cape. That is very important and probably the biggest thing for Phase 4. Then I think sometime around April 7th to the 14th, we will see the SSCTK patch, and then obviously the Thursday the 9th Thursday, April 9th, or Thursday, April 16th for the raid. They do patches usually on the Tuesday, and then the raid releases on a Thursday, has been their formula for a lot of Classic. Then, with May, I think we are finally going to see Siege of Orgrimmar on May 5th with the patch there, Timeless Isle, all that fun stuff, and the raid releasing on the 7th. How they handle Throne of Thunder will show us a lot about this. This is the furthest, most accurate date I can predict because, like I said, we have that 8 to 12 week variance. So, like, if they choose 12 weeks every time, this can push it back months in advance. So this is the furthest out that I feel comfortable giving you exact dates for when we will see certain things. Then for TBC, I think we will see Black Temple in July because we're getting SSE TK in April. Like I said, we don't have an exact date here. It's all up in the air. August will actually be pretty quiet. And then September will truly determine the fate of the classic project, and this is that September fork in the road. This is where we have two paths that we could go down, and I genuinely, I mean, you guys know which one I'm hoping for by how I'm going to present them to you, but I genuinely don't know what we're going to do. But here we will finally get BlizzCon on September 12th, 2026, and this will tell us the future of Classic, essentially. The paths ahead of us, I really hope that they announce all versions of Classic are coming to an end. They're stopping, they're meeting that dead halt, and then we are going into a full send fresh launch of Classic Plus, with probably in November. Just because it has been long enough at this point. It would have been their 18 months that they needed to get this whole thing done. They do start development quite early before they actually send things. They shared this with us in the SOD video that they spent quite a lot of time before even announcing SOD working on it. So if they finished phase 8 of SOD and when we got all the news last April, this would be close to the 18 months that they would need to build this whole game that they are doing. But hopefully that's what it is. Obviously, it could not be that. And then the other pathway, which I truly hope we don't get, is going to be just continuation of the classic projects we're on. Anniversary TBC would go into Wrath of the Lich King at some point. We would get the fate of Mop, whether Mop is going to do three things: stay and be Mop era, Mop is going to go into Warlords of Draenor, and or Legion. They could just skip WoD and go to Legion. That is on the table, especially with getting Legion Remix in these coming days. I don't really know, but time will certainly tell with that. And then, of course, we could actually, Mop could come to a full close and they merge this classic experience with retail, add a little, this was collected in classic, asterisks, and so on. I don't know what their plan is for Mop, but those are the three things that come to my mind for how it is going to proceed or end. Then I think we will see Sunwell either late September or early October, and then whether or not it goes into Wrath, we would find out November, December, further out. But the calendar only goes 1 year, so I can't go into November 2026 at this time. But that is sort of where I think the classic project is headed to. My hopes, realistic dates, realistic predictions for you guys. And, you know, this could be completely wrong, but usually I'm pretty accurate with my dates and predictions. I'm usually within a couple weeks of it because everything comes on an 8 to 12 week cycle, so it's not too freaking hard. I will post this full timeline in the notes I have down below for you guys and pin it to the comments so you guys have just sort of my predictions there for you guys as well. But anyway, let me know what you think the outcome is going to be, where you think we're headed, why you think we're headed for these things, and most importantly, what do you think Mop is going to do? Do you think we're going to continue, or do you think we're going to full stop and get that true Classic Plus, or whatever is the next announcement? It'll be really, really nice to see. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.